Okay, so have you ever stopped to think maybe about that song you heard or some image you saw and wondered, is there some AI involved here?
It's definitely getting harder to tell sometimes, right?
Absolutely. And that's exactly what we're diving into today, this really fascinating, sometimes tricky intersection of artificial intelligence and, well, human creativity.
Yeah, and we've got a couple of really interesting sources to guide us. There's Martin McDermott's article, AI and Future Creativity, Boundless Possibilities.
Right, that one sounds pretty optimistic.
It is, definitely leans into the potential. And then contrasting that a bit, we have philosopher Julian Baggini's essay, AI and the Future of Creativity, which offers, let's say, a more critical look.
So the idea here is to give everyone listening a kind of shortcut. Yeah.
Well,
We'll pull out the main arguments, the big ideas, the potential, but also the concerns from both pieces.
exactly. We want to map out how AI is already changing things and where it might be headed in the creative world, using these sources as our framework.
Okay, let's kick off with McDermott's view. He talks about AI being a creative catalyst. What's he really getting at there?
Well, he sees AI as more than just a new gadget. It's something that's fundamentally shaking up creative industries, pushing boundaries.
He mentions Major being excited about using tech to break creative limits.
Yeah, that enthusiasm comes through. It's this idea that AI could unlock totally new ways of working in art, music, advertising, design, you name it.
So it's like maybe AI helps overcome the technical hurdles, letting creators focus more on the core, maybe more original ideas.
That's a big part of it. McDermott argues AI actually challenges our whole notion that creativity is only human.
How so?
He explains it as AI augmenting what we can do. It can chew through massive amounts of data, spot patterns maybe we wouldn't see, and then generate something. Well, arguably original based on all that.
It enhances our own capabilities, basically.
Precisely. It pushes us beyond our usual creative limits.
And he gives concrete examples, which is helpful, like in music.
Right. He points out AI algorithms composing music that, can really hold its own against human composers, even experimenting with styles.
He even mentions Major using AI audio for podcast bits, which feels very relevant right now.
Yeah, a bit meta. And then in visual arts, it's similar. AI analyzing tons of images, finding trends, and then generating new art from prompts.
Okay, so it's like having this incredibly knowledgeable assistant who's seen everything and can instantly synthesize styles or ideas.
Kind of, yeah. It can process so much more, so much faster. McDermott connects this to specific tools, too.
Yeah, like Deep Dream, that Google thing.
Exactly, the one that made those really wild, sort of psychedelic images by finding and amplifying patterns.
I remember those. Very distinctive.
And then things like Adobe Sensei, which is actually built into software many creatives already use, like Photoshop.
So that's more about streamlining things, automating repetitive tasks.
Yeah, the goal there seems to be freeing up the human creative to focus on the bigger picture, the concept, rather than getting bogged down in tedious steps.
Okay, so it's augmenting the process, making it smoother, like a super efficient helper.
That's the idea. And building on that, McDermott highlights some bigger projects, too.
Like OpenAI's MuseNet.
That system that can generate music in different styles, mimic composers, or even create something totally new. Pretty remarkable stuff.
Wow. And also AI art being shown in galleries, like
Yeah.
Mario Klingsman's work.
Right. That really forces us to ask, what even counts as art anymore? Who's the artist?
Yeah, it blurs the lines.
Yeah.
So, underlying all this, McDermott seems pretty positive about the benefits.
Definitely. He emphasizes how AI can enhance the creative process, give us new tools, help explore completely novel ideas.
And potentially find insights and data that lead to breakthroughs.
Exactly. Discoveries we might not make otherwise.
But there have to be downsides, right? Or at least concerns. McDermott addresses those too.
He does touch on them. The potential loss of human originality, for one. If AI does it so well, where's the human motivation?
And that fundamental question, is AI really being creative? Or is it just incredibly sophisticated mimicry?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And this is where Baggini's perspective becomes really important.
Okay, so how does Bikini approach this?
Well, he starts with this quite evocative metaphor about AI scraping data. Like it's stealing the weapons from creators without paying for them. It sets a more cautious tone immediately.
Right, focusing on the impact on the creators themselves.
Yeah. And his first big point is about the sheer speed of it all. How do you regulate something that's evolving so incredibly fast?
Good point. Laws written for today's AI might be useless tomorrow.
Exactly. He suggests maybe we need more general principle-based frameworks rather than rules tied to specific tech like current LLMs. Something more adaptable.
Like foundational legal principles that can apply regardless of the specific tech. Makes sense.
Then he draws this parallel to big industrial shifts in the past, like moving away from heavy industry.
Okay. How does that connect?
His point is that even if change is inevitable, how we manage it matters hugely for the people affected. We need to think about the human cost, the social impact on creative professions.
So learn from past transitions
Yeah.
to manage this one better for the people involved.
Precisely. He also argues that this whole issue of AI using creative work without payment, it's part of a bigger problem.
Which is?
The fact that society often undervalues creative work anyway, low pay for writers, artists expected to work for exposure.
I see. So the AI issue is maybe just magnifying an existing problem of creatives not getting fair compensation.
That's his perspective. It highlights a pre-existing vulnerability.
But he doesn't think human creatives are doomed. I remember something about cake.
Yes. The homemade cake analogy. His point is, even if a machine or a bakery can make a technically perfect cake, we still often value the one made by a person. There's a human connection.
Right, the story behind it, the effort, the person.
Exactly. He believes we'll likely still value that human element in art, music, writing, even if AI gets incredibly good. Fears of total redundancy might be overblown.
That's somewhat comforting, I guess.
It focuses on value beyond just the output. And then his final point is actually quite provocative, maybe even optimistic in a challenging way.
Whoa.
He suggests AI might actually push human creatives to be better.
How? By showing us up.
Sort of. If AI can easily churn out formulaic, predictable stuff, think generic pop songs or cliched ad copy, it kind of exposes human work that relies on those same formulas.
So it raises the bar. It forces us to be genuinely original, less derivative.
That's the idea. AI could potentially push us away from the easy formulaic path and towards more truly innovative work.
Okay, so wrapping this up, we have McDermott's vision.
Yeah.
AI is this powerful, exciting partner, opening doors.
Right, full of potential and new possibilities.
But then Baghini brings in these crucial counterpoints. Manage the transition carefully. Think about fair value. Consider the human element.
And maybe even see AI as a weird kind of catalyst for us to improve our own creativity.
A lot to think about. Both sides see AI having a huge impact, just emphasizing different aspects of that impact.
Definitely. The technological versus the human and societal angles.
So for everyone listening, maybe the question becomes, as AI gets better and better at generating content, maybe even stuff that feels creative, how do you personally define originality now?
Yeah, what does it mean to be original in your own work or even just in how you appreciate things?
And maybe, what are those uniquely human parts of creativity that become even more important, even more valuable as AI takes over some of the other tasks?
It's definitely something to keep pondering as this technology continues to weave itself into our lives.
Absolutely. Worth digging into more. If you're interested, maybe check out those original articles.
For sure. It's a space that's changing fast.